Hey, what's up nerds? In today's video, I'm going to be showing off the top 10 best killer perks in Dead by Daylight. This list was made up by the community's pick rate on each and every perk. But every perk on this list is pretty much so strong that you can just switch and swap them any way you want and you'll make a crazy build. Just like I did for my top 10 survivor perk video, which if you haven't seen, I'll add a link so you can check it out if you are interested. But yeah, just like last time, I'll show off 2 or 1 off meta perk that isn't in the top 10 that you can combo off each perk on this list. Starting off at number 10, Nowhere to Hide. Nowhere to Hide is a night teachable from the DLC Forged in Fog. This perk activates once kicking a generator. Once active, you'll see the aura of all survivors within 24 meters of your position for 3, 4, or 5 seconds. It's a super useful perk for finding survivors that were just doing generators that are now trying to hide from you. Or if you're a killer with really good mobility, you can hit a gen and just dash away and you have free aura reading for 5 seconds. Either way, it's great for finding survivors and just hunting them down. 2 perks that aren't on this list but are great to combo off Nowhere to Hide are Call of Brine and Overcharge. Crazy to think that these 2 perks were once probably like number 1 and 2 on the list, but now they are not even in the top 10. But anyways, Call of Brine also activates by kicking a generator, and afterwards it'll be active for 60 seconds. After damaging a generator, it will degress at 115, 120, or 125 of normal digression speed, and its aura will be highlighted in yellow to you. During those 60 seconds, if a survivor gets on that generator and hits a good skill check, you'll be notified of it right away. So you can head right back over there, kick the gen again, and get some Nowhere to Hide value. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Call of Brine is an Onryo teachable from the DLC Sadako's Rising. And the second perk I recommend is Overcharge. This is a Doctor teachable from the DLC Spark of Madness. Just like the other 2 perks, this one also activates once kicking a generator. Once kicked, the next survivor to touch the generator will instantly be faced with a difficult skill check, and if they miss, you're notified and the gem will lose an extra 2, 3, or 4% of its maximum progression, in addition to the normal 5% for missing a skill check. There's also a second part to Overcharge, which is the gem will degress 85% to 130% faster for the next 30 seconds. Also, I would like to add that Call of Brine and Overcharge do stack. They are not as strong as what they once were together, but they could still be pretty useful for kicking gens. Our next perk at number 9 is Deadlock. This is a Pinhead teachable from the DLC Hellraiser. The perk activates instantly once a generator is completed. Afterwards, the most progress gen will be locked for 20, 25, or 30 seconds. It will also have its aura revealed to you in white during this time. Honestly, when it comes to comboing perks with Deadlock, I would pretty much say that anything is good with it. It's just a free way to buy extra time without doing anything. You get 2 minutes of extra game time just by bringing it. But a perk that's surprisingly not on this list that I often find myself bringing with Deadlock is No Way Out. No Way Out is a Trickster teachable from the DLC All Kill. No Way Out is a token-based perk where each unique survivor hooked counts as a token. Once you get all 4 tokens, you'll be given the perk's maximum value. No Way Out is an endgame perk that activates once a survivor touches an exit gate. By default, it blocks them for 12 seconds, but for each token, it adds an extra 6, 9, or 12 seconds. This can give a total time of 36, 48, or 60 seconds. Again, it's just another way to have some passive slowdown just by playing the game normally, just like Deadlock. Another perk that combos well with Deadlock and especially No Way Out is Grim Embrace. This is an artist teachable from the DLC Portrait of Murder. Exactly like No Way Out, this is a token-based perk that gains tokens by hooking each unique survivor. Once every survivor has been hooked and you get the maximum 4 tokens, all generators will be locked for 40 seconds and the obsession will be revealed to you for 6 seconds. It's just another passive slowdown without you really having to do anything besides just focus on chasing survivors. At number 8, we have our only chase perk, Save the Best for Last. This is a Michael Myers or The Shape teachable from the Halloween DLC. Save the Best for Last is another token-based perk that starts off with 0 tokens, but you can make your way up to a total of 8 tokens. You get these tokens by hitting a survivor that is in your obsession, and each token allows you to recover 5% faster from basic attacks. However, you lose 2 tokens every time you hit your obsession with a basic attack. This is a super strong perk, especially with killers with special attacks like Nemesis, Wesker, or Pig. This is because injuring a survivor with a special attack doesn't make it where you lose any tokens, so that way you can down your obsession and keep max save stacks. It's also kind of just needed for killers that can only M1, like Trapper for example, because they have no snowball potential and no way of downing any survivor otherwise. Just like Deadlock though, this perk is pretty much just an all-around great perk that you can throw on with anything, but a perk I like to run with STBFL is Mad Grit or Agi, just because survivors who take hits for each other will end up getting snowballed just because how fast you recover while carrying a survivor. Mad Grit is a Legion teachable from the DLC Darkness Among Us. This perk, I'm not gonna lie, is pretty gimmicky. It activates when carrying a survivor and removes the cooldown from a missed basic attack. That basically means you can just spam swing when carrying a survivor, but that's not the best thing to do because then the survivors will know not to take hits. The best thing to do is to hide it. That way a survivor will actually try to take a hit, and when you do hit them, it will pause the person's wiggle timer for 2, 3, or 4 seconds. It's a super fun perk, and it works mainly good with altruistic teams or a Swift. The other perk, Agitation, is also really good, if not better, to be running with Save the Best, and that's because you move 6, 12, or 18% faster while carrying a survivor. This is super strong when used with Scourge hooks, and having Save the Best on top of that, people that have tried taking hits are going to be moving so fast that you basically make it to any hook anyway, so taking hits is pointless, but they don't know that. They'll be taking hits if they're an altruistic team anyway. So you'll be able to hit them with Save, possibly get another down, and you get to hook a Scourge hook. But yeah, those two are the kind of off-meta perks, I guess I would say, that aren't on this list that I would run with it. But the next perk after this is something I definitely like to run with Save the Best for last. Next perk on this list, and has been part of the meta for a while, but has just become even more meta ever since medkit nerfs. This perk is Sloppy Butcher, and it activates by hitting a survivor with a basic attack. Afterwards, the survivor will be hit with the Mangled and Hemorrhage debuffs. Mangled makes it where healing is 25% slower, and Hemorrhage makes it where if a heal is interrupted, the heal will instantly start to degress. Sloppy Butcher is a free universal perk, so you will not have to buy any DLCs or grind for this perk. A great perk to combo off this is a Nurse's Calling, which is a nurse teachable and is another free character. A Nurse's Calling activates when a survivor is within 20, 24, or 28 meters of you while they are healing or being healed. This will cause them to have their auras revealed to you. It's super useful for stealth killers like Ghostface, for example, because you can get the jump on them and get a free down. Also, Save the Best for Last and Sloppy Butcher are a beautiful combo. Since you're going to be using basic attacks anyway, you'll be applying Sloppy Butcher constantly on multiple survivors really quickly. But to not sound like a broken record since we just talked about Save, I'm gonna skip talking about it again. Our number 6 perk is Pop Goes the Weasel, which is a clown teachable from the DLC Curtain Call. This perk has made its way back into the meta in the most recent buff. It used to only be 20% of a gen's current progress. They now buffed it to where when you kick a gen, it loses 30% of its current progress. But to get that, Pop needs to activate by hooking a survivor, and it will only stay active for 35, 40, or 45 seconds. We already went over perks that would work best for it, which is Call O'Brien, Overcharge, and Nowhere to Hide. So for the sake of not sounding redundant, I'm going to skip talking about them. There's also a super strong perk that's at the number 2, and I was kind of shocked to see it not at number 1. But that perk coming up at number 2 is literally the king combo slowdown right now. It's Pop and this other perk. You guys probably already know it. Comment if you know what it is. On to our next perk at number 5, Corrupt Intervention. This is a plague teachable from the DLC Demise of the Faithful. This perk instantly activates at the start of a trial, locking the 3 furthest generators from you. The gens will continue to stay blocked for 80, 100, or 120 seconds. Corrupt was also nerfed a while back to where it will now also deactivate once a survivor enters the dying state. This perk is pretty much a guaranteed way to buy extra time out of the game, giving you an advantage at the start of the trial. Well, assuming a survivor doesn't bring the new Nicolas Cage perk, plot twist. Some good perks to combo off this once again are everything. This perk really doesn't need any perk to get the max potential out of it, but the things that come to mind are already on this list, and I talked about like Deadlock, No Way Out, Grim Embrace, all of that stuff. Anything that provides passive slowdown, so you just don't really have to do anything. I'm kind of shocked to not see this as not the most used aura reading perk, but at our number 4, Lethal Pursuer. This is a Nemesis teachable from the DLC Resident Evil. This perk activates at the start of the trial, and all survivors will have their auras revealed for 7, 8, or 9 seconds. And it also gives the bonus of extending any aura reading perk or add-on for an extra 2 seconds. So because of that, using aura reading perks with this would be great. One that's super strong and isn't in the top 10 is I'm All Ears. This is a Ghostface teachable from the DLC again. Ghostface, I know, crazy. I'm All Ears activates when a survivor does a rush action within 48 meters and will have their aura revealed for 6 seconds, and the cooldown is 60, 50, or 40 seconds. It's a super strong perk that creates crazy mind games, and you can always catch survivors completely off guard. Another great perk to run for those Huntress and Trickster players out there is Darkness Revealed. Darkness Revealed is a Dredge teachable from the DLC Roots of Dread. Darkness Revealed activates once you search a generator, and after that, all survivors within 8 meters of any locker will have their auras revealed to you for 5 seconds. This perk also has a 30-second cooldown. This is a great perk to run on Huntress and Trickster since you're constantly going to be reloading anyway throughout the trial, so you might as well get more value out of your reload. The number 3 perk is Barbecue and Chili. This is a perk that I'm pretty surprised, even when including that I am basing this list off pick rate. I'm still surprised to see that Lethal isn't the most used aura reading and that Barbecue and Chili is. This perk is a Bubba teachable from the DLC Leatherface. This perk activates once hooking a survivor. Afterwards, any survivor from 60, 50, or 40 meters away from the hook will have their auras revealed for 5 seconds. This is super useful for figuring out where to go next and giving the survivors a lot less downtime. This perk also just combos great off lethal, since straight off in the beginning of the game there's no downtime since you'll be chasing somebody, but also throughout the time that you're hooking people and getting barbecue value, you're giving the survivors no downtime and constant chases. I think this will come as a bit of a surprise to you guys, just like it did for me for not being number 1, but our number 2 spot shockingly goes to Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. This is an artist teachable from the DLC Portrait of Murder. This perk, ever since release, has always been meta. It has never left. Currently, it's in its most balanced state, being both super strong and super fair. The way this perk works is there's 4 random hooks that will become Scourge hooks, and they're highlighted in white to you. And for this specific Scourge hook, each Scourge only works once for each unique survivor. Each survivor that is hooked for the first time will make the most progress generator lose 15, 20, or 25% of its current progress. A great combo to run off this is Deadman's, which is a Deathslinger perk from the DLC Chains of Hate. This is such a great combo because when Pain Res activates, if a survivor doesn't let go, they will actually scream, making them let go of the generator, causing it to lock off for 20, 25, or 30 seconds, buying you even more extra time throughout the match. But currently, the best 2 slowdowns in the game right now are Pain Res and Pop, so if you use those 2, that will definitely do the trick. And our number 1 spot goes to Jolt. I know that might come to a shock as some people, but when you realize it's based off pick rate, it actually makes a lot of sense. That's because Jolt's the only perk that is free that provides actual slowdown. This perk activates when downing a survivor with a basic attack, causing all generators within a 32 meter radius to instantly explode, losing 6, 7, or 8% of its total progress. A great perk to combo off this is Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, and that's because that way with those 2 you'll never have to kick a gen, and you can just keep focusing on downing survivors as fast as possible. The other perk that's great for it is Save the Best for Last, and that's again because of the snowball potential that comes with it. So if you're able to down 2 survivors, that means within those 32 meters, now gens have lost 16% of its current progress. But yeah, that's going to do it for the top 10 killer perks in Dead by Daylight. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you are new here. I also have a Discord so you can stay up to date when I post on any of my socials, or if you just want to chat about, I don't know, what you ate for breakfast or something. Also, feel free to comment what you think deserves to be in the top 10. I would love to hear your guys' opinions. Thanks for watching though, nerds. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video.